Welcome once again to Beyond the Lens, where we not only tell you the stories, but we let the storytellers help tell the stories for you. Andres Leiva is a staff photographer for Food for the Poor. The photo that we're talking about today is one of the reasons that I come to work every single day. There's a mother and two sons. Let's talk about them.
So this is a photo from Guatemala, and like you said, these are the type of photos that are some of the most fun to capture because we're meeting success stories. We're meeting families who they received a major need in their lives, and that major need was fulfilled. So like I said, this is a family in Guatemala. This is Dominga and her two children, Carlitos and Antonio. Antonio's on the left and Carlitos is on the right there. And they were a family that was living in a pretty bad situation of poverty. Their home, before they received this new Food for the Poor home, thanks to donors, their old home was just not a safe shelter. It was an improvised structure, meaning it was made of improvised materials, sticks, tarps. There was some elements of like tin sheets that were used here and there. But overall, it's an example of a shelter that doesn't provide safety. It doesn't provide, great shelter from the elements, and for this is something that you see with a lot of families. The lack of quality shelter hugely impacts the lives of these families living in poverty. Without a good night's rest, the children, have to struggle in school if they're attending school. At night, there's an element of danger from possible intruders or vermin that get into the house if the shelter isn't airtight or secure. And so living in a home that does not provide adequate shelter is a huge source of stress and just lack of quality of life for families. But as you can see in this photo, you can see the smile on the face of this family, how much of a burden has been lifted from them after they received, this wonderful new Food for the Poor home. And, look, you can even see that they've decorated it with flowers.
Yeah.
It's such a huge relief for moms to know that at night when it's raining, her children won't be wet from gaps in the roof or from the walls. When the door is shut at night and locked, they're secure in the home. And it totally changes, the arc of where their lives are heading.
Well, you shot it beautifully. I want to focus in on Dominga, the mother there. We've all heard the story, the saying that if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And she is happy and she's reflected on her boys. What struck you about this young lady?
Just the love that she has for her two boys. And, there's more members of the family that not pictured in this image, but just the amount of care that she puts into all of her family. And, you see it when you see the images from, before, again, they're not pictured, but if you were to look at some of the images from before the house, there's a few images where she's looking at her children and there's just this face of stress. It's the face of a mom who wishes she could provide better for her children. But, because of circumstances outside of her control, she just wasn't able to. And so, seeing the happiness that, when she sees that her boys are happy, the happiness that brings her was something that impacted me so much. And, the kids they feed off of her happiness too. As you can see here, everyone started, I think one of the boys started laughing here and it kind of set everybody off into giggles. And so, being able to photograph that joy and that love that the family had for each other is one of the greatest things about this job.
Very rewarding.
Absolutely.
Andres Leiva, taking us beyond the lens. He's one of our great staff photographers that visually tell you the story of real people with real challenges, experiencing real joy and transformation because of people just like you. To find out more about these stories and how you can get involved in these stories, go to our website at foodforthepoor.org. That's foodforthepoor.org. You'll see a lot of great stories that you can share with others. And another way that you can share with others, that you can contribute to telling the story of Dominga and so many others, it's subscribing right here to our YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe, and maybe even leave some comments below to tell us how these stories have touched you. Andre, in our final moments here, what would you like to express to people, particularly about the country of Guatemala and what you saw and what you recorded in your brain but couldn't get into the darkroom necessarily?
Just in Guatemala, not just Guatemala, but many of the countries that we serve, just the lack of a safe home is such a foundational aspect of the poverty that these families live in. And so I'd encourage anyone that if you see this image of a transformed family, and the thought of being able to help other families like this brings you joy, then I would consider making a gift, to helping families and helping to build safe homes like this, because once a home is built for the family, it's the foundation that can that the rest of their lives can be built on. So that's what I would love to share with others.
Andres, thank you for your hand, a major part in rewriting life stories. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Foodforthepoor.org is our website where you can find out more about what Food for the Poor does beyond food, beyond housing, and taking you beyond the lens. Foodforthepoor.org. A lot more great stories coming your way right here on our YouTube channel. Be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. I'm Chris Wallace. We'll see you again next time. Beyond the Lens is a production of Food for the Poor, united in God's work.